I think it's pretty clear that I'm a bit of a fan of Power Rangers, but what you might not know is that I'm also a big fan of DC Comics. So you can only imagine the nerdgasm I had when I walked into a local comic book store and saw a crossover between Power Rangers and the Justice League. And despite a few delays in the release schedule, the full collection has now been released along with the collected graphic novel, and that means that I'm able to share with you, my ever so slightly growing audience, some of the finer details as well as my opinions. The first thing to note is that it's nice to get the original Power Rangers than the 2017 reboot. It's not that the reboot was bad necessarily, it's just that it didn't have the same charm as the original series. And despite the new generation looking like Iron Man wannabes, I do think that the original series does make more sense for a comic book revival. I've also shared my thoughts on the reboot movie and its graphic novel sequel, but there's also a whole new story arc for the original Rangers that even includes new characters that are starting to make their way into Power Rangers lore, as well as a few cosplay repertoires. But that series is still ongoing, so we'll save that for another time. So without any further ado, let's dive straight in. The story starts with a massive crater that used to be Angel Grove, but before we get onto that side of the story, we're taken on a flashback to figure out how we got to this point. It starts with the news that Alpha has gone missing, and the Rangers split up to try and find where he's gone. Zack is the first to find him, but he's been damaged, so naturally Zack transports them both back to the command centre as quickly as possible. Only it turns out that this isn't actually the real Alpha. It's a Trojan horse that explodes, damaging the command centre's outer walls and allowing the invasion of Lord Zedd and his putty patrol. Being outnumbered, rather than trying to defeat Zedd there and then, Zack attempts to teleport them both away from Zordon, only his communicator was damaged in the blast, so rather than simply transporting them both to Angel Grove, they're both transported to another dimension and another Earth, with Zack landing in Gotham City and at the feet of none other than Batman. After Zack struggles to subdue Batman alone, the other Rangers quickly follow, causing the Dark Knight to call for help from other members of the Justice League. The battle escalates with Flash arriving and the Rangers calling on their Zords, before the remainder of the Justice League arrives and a full-on Power Rangers vs DC battle royale ensues. When Wonder Woman realises that the Rangers aren't a threat, they're able to reconcile their difference and realise that they're on the same side. Meanwhile, it appears that Lord Zedd has also bumped into someone of interest in the form of Brainiac. Zedd proposes that the two may work together. Seeing as the Power Rangers and the Justice League are both in the same dimension, Zedd's dimension is unprotected, meaning that Brainiac is free to take a sample of an Earth city for his collection, and then Lord Zedd can rule over what's left of that universe. With the help of a few select creatures from Brainiac's collection, Zedd baits both the Power Rangers and the Justice League to come and fight. Cyborg even calls in Justice League reservists like Supergirl, Beast Boy, Batgirl, Kid Flash, Hawkgirl, Green Arrow, Black Canary, Aquaman and Captain Marvel, or Shazam. However, during the battle, Brainiac drones are sent down, allowing him to take control of the Zords and rob the Rangers of their powers. The two villains are then able to escape to Zedd's dimension, leaving the Rangers unable to give chase. Back aboard the Justice League Watchtower, they're able to regroup and figure out how they can travel to the Rangers dimension without the use of their Zords or power coins. While Flash is technically able to do this, something else is required to transport them all. They instead travel to Switzerland to use the CERN Super Collider to create a wormhole. In order to connect it to their world, Tommy produces his Dragon Zord dagger, which is still in communication with the Zord itself. The wormhole opens and the team arrives just outside of Angel Grove, only it's too late and the process of bottling and shrinking it has already begun. They arrive just in time to see it vanish from in front of them. But there's another problem. Brainiac doesn't just take a sample, he then destroys the original host planet. Despite the Rangers still having no powers, they're going to have to fight to get their home back and defeat the team of Lord Zedd and Brainiac. Batman proposes using an arsenal of weapons accumulated by the Justice League, and so to extend the crossover even further, we get treated to the likes of Tommy in Lex Luthor's armour, Trini as Katana, Jason as Red Hood, and Billy as Prometheus. Together they raid Brainiac's ship, and Superman is able to steal back the Rangers' morphers, communicators, and power coins. Although the battle is made more complicated when Cyborg is hacked and Brainiac is able to take control of him. With little choice, Billy stabs Cyborg with his lance to immobilise him. Luckily, Batman is able to rewire Cyborg, and now Superman and the now morphed Rangers are able to join them in finding the bottled cities. Only we've been missing something. Alpha is now in the possession of Brainiac, but despite threats of being destroyed, he seems unafraid as he knows that the Rangers, both morphed and unmorphed, are out there looking for him. It doesn't take long before they're both found and Brainiac is down pretty quickly and chopped into pieces. As a contingency, Billy and Cyborg take the arm to figure out a plan B should Brainiac somehow return. Meanwhile, Lord Zedd is still going strong, with the command centre around his neck as a piece of jewellery and an army of new monsters that he's about to turn into giants. Only Flash is able to grab one of the vials, and rather than handing it straight back to one of Brainiac's drones, Alpha uses it on himself, getting to the action and fighting off some of the monsters. However, it seems that Brainiac has managed to endure and takes over Cyborg once again, only Billy had pre-installed a virus that not only affects Cyborg, but also affects other bodies under Brainiac's control, including his drones and the Zords. With that, the Rangers are able to take back control of the Zords and form Megazord, taking the fight to Lord Zedd alongside Alpha as their unexpected sidekick. With the battle over, the Rangers are able to use what's left of Brainiac's technology to release Angel Grove and return it to its regular size. The Justice League can then depart, only it seems Brainiac hasn't quite left this dimension, as Alpha seems a little greener than usual. Now, I'm not sure whether this will go down as an all-time classic in the DC universe, but I do like a crossover storyline every now and then. And it's nice to see the original Power Rangers having the freedom to generate new story arcs rather than just throwing something together using the dregs of another franchise. It may be a little bit childish in its approach and it's a little bit short, but it makes me more interested in picking up the new Boom comic series, which I have actually done, but I'm saving that for another video. If you'd like to read this graphic novel, I'd recommend picking it up on Comixology. They're not paying me to say that, that's just a genuine endorsement. It's just very easy and you can have all of your comics in one place. But until next time, guys, I'll see you later.